What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ango Show. We are live. It is November 21st, 2024. And as you can imagine, we got Full Gear. And I know everybody's excited about Full Gear. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. Are you actually excited for it or not? We're going to talk about it today. The pay-per-view is Saturday. Obviously, you know, AEW has had a very interesting build to this card. There are some things that I'm excited about, and there's some praise that I'm going to be giving AEW today. But we are live across YouTube, and we are live as well on X. So I got the multi-streaming feature down. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Hopefully everything sounds good. Hopefully everything looks good. I appreciate you guys coming through. Yeah, it's been really, really weird because YouTube Live has not been acting that right for me. As of late, this month has actually been kind of weird. Viewership is down. The features aren't working as much, which is why we're starting the multi-live feature. I got it going. It's interesting. If you guys want to support the stream on Twitter, I don't know, maybe you could just literally repost this or retweet it or whatever. And if you're watching on YouTube, clicking like would be great. Or you could drop a super chat, or you could become a member. You know, whatever it is that you feel that you want to do to support the channel, it's appreciated. Let's talk about AEW Full Gear because, well, quite frankly, it's an interesting card. There could be a chance that as of right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches on the card. So we'll see what happens. Can you guys confirm that we're still live? Because I just got a notification saying that there's an issue. So I don't know what the hell is happening. Okay, it looks like we're still live. That's good. Thank the Lord. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Trey in the chat. Appreciate you. Laws also in the chat. Appreciate you. So yeah, look, there's like 8 matches on the card. Lately, I feel like AEW pay-per-views have actually been paced pretty well. There are a couple things I'm excited for on this card. There's a couple things I'm not excited for on this card. There's a couple things that I think people are complaining about for absolutely no fucking reason. So we're going to talk about that too, which we'll start with it. Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall is on the Ground Zero card. And I can see that some people are very upset about this. That is not an issue for me. I think it's a good thing to see AEW venture out and try to bring in viral acts on the internet. Quite frankly, I think it's a good thing for AEW. I think there's an opportunity there for those who don't know. Big AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler, right? They are a social media act that has completely taken over social media. Some people find them cringy. Some people find them corny, but that is, it's not an issue. Shout out to Dave Taylor for joining the Job Squad. Appreciate you, my boy. Yeah, so let's talk about that, right? Like, I don't think it's a big deal. I think they are corny. I do think it's cringe. But at the same time, too, their social media numbers are incredibly good. And also, Big AJ is somebody who actually wrestled. So having the Costco guys at AEW is totally fine with me. I don't think it hurts AEW in the slightest. In fact, I actually look forward to this match. And the cool thing is, it is on the pre-show with... Woo! Excuse me. I think this is a great thing, man. Like, I think it's good for business, honestly. And it's free. So you're not actually spending money to watch this match, which is cool. And it's pretty geeked. Pretty cool. I'm going to pick Big AJ here. There's no reason why QT Marshall should be winning. And, you know, the truth is, look, man, like, it's fun. It's cool. It's harmless. It doesn't hurt AEW. AEW's got other problems to worry about, not Big AJ, not the Costco guys, and nothing wrong with the Rizzler coming through, ringing the bell. I'm all for it. I support it. I think it's completely fine. I'm going to read your guys' chats in a little bit. Guaranteed responses come from super chats or members. So if you guys got a question, drop a super chat. On Twitter, I don't know. There is no super chat feature, but I do have a donate icon on my profile. So if you guys do that, I will read whatever questions those bring me. Yeah, but my pick for this is very simple. Big AJ is going to get the win. If he is a impressive wrestler and he does well, I will be extremely excited about it, because at the end of the day, that's going to get people talking about AEW, which is ultimately what they need. They need people to talk about the company. That's exactly what should happen. So I do look forward to that. Next up, we have MJF versus Roderick Strong. I haven't been too happy about this build, to be honest. Obviously, Adam Cole's going to get involved here in some capacity. Adam Cole is obviously not in the match, so we'll see how they tie Adam Cole into this. There's a very interesting story being told, especially with Kyle O'Reilly. So maybe Kyle O'Reilly is there. Or do they turn Adam Cole heel? I don't know. Clearly, there is something that they can do here with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. We'll see how they go about it. But I think this is one of those things where, genuinely speaking, like MJF, I think a lot of people don't talk about how good he is as a wrestler. I think he'll be completely fine when he wrestles Roderick Strong. It's probably going to be a fun match, to be honest. It's probably going to be a good match. I just specifically didn't care too much for the build. MJF beating Roderick Strong is a big, easy prediction for me. But I do expect Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole involved in some capacity, whether it's during the match, whether it's after the match, I don't know. But I do expect something there. So I think you should expect that as well. Next, we have Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. If I remember correctly, I told everybody that Jay White should be a world champion in AEW. Now listen, this isn't the popular opinion, but you got Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley on this card for the world championship, and I don't think people are too invested in that. Personally speaking, I don't think people care as much about that. Jay White needs to be a top guy in AEW. And I got scolded by the internet wrestling community because I said that Jay White should be in WWE. Now, it's been over a year, my friends. It's been quite a bit of time, and I stick with it because I don't think Jay White is coming across as a big star in AEW. So we need to do something to change that. Having him beat Hangman Page would absolutely do that. We got to build up this main event scene. We got to do something exciting here. And quite frankly, Jay White's got to win this match. Jay White needs to do it in a good way. Jay White needs to be winning high profile matches. We got to build him up the right way, which is the exact reason why I don't think AEW will have him win. But I'm picking Jay White anyways. I'm probably going to be wrong here. I could see AEW picking Hangman Adam Page, but I would prefer Jay White to go over. This is a storyline. I love Hangman Page and I like Jay White. This is a storyline that could even be better and better and better if they give it more time and let it breathe. So I want to see more after this. Whatever happens, even if I'm wrong, even if my prediction is wrong, I want to see more come from this. Jay White should not be fiddling around in the mid card. Jay White should be at the top of the card. For all those people that tried to bash me and call me out and be a piece of shit, fuck towards me, just because I said Jay White did the wrong decision by going to AEW. For their sake, I hope Jay White wins, and I hope Jay White actually comes across as a top star in AEW, because otherwise it is going to look absolutely funny if that doesn't happen, and everybody's obviously going to remember that. I literally went viral for fantasy booking Jay White in WWE, and people said it was shit. People said it was garbage. People said I was a fucking dumbass and I was a loser and I was all of these things. And that is completely funny to me because Jay White has not done anything of relevance in AEW. This is the match. This is the storyline that could absolutely change absolutely everything. Jay White deserves better. And as much as I love Hangman Adam Page, I want to see both of these guys fighting for the world championship. Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy is not strong enough for the world championship. Jay White and Hangman Page is strong enough to be a world championship match. And that's the way it should be. So with that being said, I'm picking Jay White. Tony Khan, I hope you're listening. I hope you're also picking Jay White. But if you're not, let's see what comes out of it. Next, we got Private Party versus the Outrunners versus House of Black versus the Acclaimed. Well. You know, it's interesting because Private Party just won those tag titles, and I don't foresee AEW changing that. So this prediction is quite easy to pick Private Party. But I am hoping this leads to the end of the Acclaimed. I'm hoping that Anthony Bowens and Max Caster are completely done as a tag team here. I voiced my opinion several times. I am not a fan of Max Caster. I don't think the Acclaimed have any sort of steam whatsoever here. And, you know, if there's anything that should come out of this match, it should be their split. House of Black and the Outrunners being involved in this match is great. If I remember correctly, this is also the Outrunners' first pay-per-view match within AEW. They're getting great reactions. That is a team that I want to see. I want to see them being built up properly as well. And hopefully they don't miss the opportunity to do so, because I do like them. And I think they're actually organically getting over, and they're really fun to watch. And so for that reason, I would like to see what they do. But you can never be too certain with AEW. I think it would be way too soon to take the belts off of Private Party. And I want to see tag team wrestling become a focus again in this company. Yeah, I genuinely do. I think WWE and AEW are completely slacking on their tag team division, and shame on them. There's no way you have this many fucking great tag teams across both companies and tag team wrestling is not taken serious. Especially more for AEW, honestly, they're going to get a little bit more criticism from me because they started off incredibly hot with making tag team wrestling a big deal. Then they introduced the Trios Championships, and then the tag team title belts basically became an afterthought. WWE has just remotely sucked with tag team wrestling pretty much forever in its existence. So yeah, I mean, they both suck with this right now. Triple H and Tony Khan are absolute garbage when it comes to their tag team divisions. They got to fix it. Both companies. I don't care who you like more or don't like more. It's embarrassing to see so many great tag teams in the world of professional wrestling across WWE and AEW for all of them to basically not be put in prominent positions. It's just not a focus. For AEW, I think they just need to get rid of the trios belts. Honestly, get rid of the trios belts and call it a day with those. Don't really care about, you know, Wheeler Yuta and Pac holding those belts with Claudio. The trios belts are garbage. Get rid of them. Make the tag team division a focus. And, you know, Private Party is a great tag team. This match will be fun to watch. I'm sure it's going to have some great moments. The only thing I see happening here, Private Party wins. Outrunners will look really good. House of Black will look really good. And I'm hoping that maybe with the Acclaimed losing, they split up, because Anthony Bowens should be a singles guy. He can hold singles gold in this company. He could be a future world champion in this company. I think Max Caster is holding him back, not trying to be harsh. I just definitely feel that way. The Acclaimed have lost a lot of steam, and I don't foresee them getting it back. So my pick is Private Party. Easy retain. Mercedes Monae versus Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship. You know, I could be wrong here. I could see Tony Khan switching it up, but Mercedes Monae is probably going to retain the belt here. And let's just kind of throw this out there too. I think this is a big thing. Chris Statlander and Mercedes Monae is not an exciting feud for me right now. It's not. I don't think the build has been great, and I don't think Mercedes has come across as a top star in this company. I want to see that change. I want to see Mercedes Monae have more competitors. I want to see more names in the mix. And what I would actually really love to see here, Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo got something a little bit going on, but we haven't seen much of it. I would love for them to post-match attack Mercedes. There could be something there. And especially with Camille being side by side with Mercedes, that allows for tag team matches, whatever it may be. I think it's going to be Britt Baker, Deonna, and Taya Valkyrie all coming together, and that would be really cool to go up against Mercedes. That could be a big feud, but I want to see some change there, because I'm not a fan of Mercedes TBS Championship reign. Truth be told, I just don't think it's exciting. So something needs to change. I like Chris Statlander. Something needs to change. Mercedes probably retaining. Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. It would be absolutely criminal if Bobby Lashley did not win this match, which is a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you're going to get people complaining that Swerve should not be losing, which I agree. I don't think Swerve should be losing a match, but how do you bring in Bobby Lashley and then have him lose? You just don't. You can't. Bobby Lashley is going to win this. A fourth member of the Hurt Syndicate will be revealed. A lot of people are pointing fingers at Lio Rush based on his history with Bobby Lashley. So that could be somewhat cool. Bobby definitely has to win this match. Swerve and Bobby should be a fun match to watch. I'm excited to see how they go about this match specifically. It's a matter of, what are you going to do here to justify Bobby beating Swerve? Because you don't want Swerve to look like a punk. You don't want Swerve to look bad. And that's really the big thing here. You really don't. And at the end of the day, the most important thing you could do if you're AEW is to not book these kind of matches so soon. But they rushed into it. They rushed into the storyline, and I didn't want that to happen because I feel like Swerve dropped his world title. Now we're getting to a point where it's like everything that he's doing after that is just kind of meh. It's a fun story. It's a good story, but I wish this was like drawn out a little bit longer, built up a little bit longer. I wish Bobby Lashley would have done a couple of weeks of, squash matches. I feel like they kind of didn't let this storyline breathe as much as they should have. That's the unfortunate part. That's the sad part. That's the part that makes me a little disappointed. But my pick is Bobby Lashley. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. I'm probably wrong here, but yeah, this is easy for me to pick. Daniel Garcia should be beating Jungle Jack Perry. I don't think I have to say much. I really don't care for Jack Perry. I don't really care for his title reign. I like Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia re-signed with the company. Daniel Garcia is going to be a great TNT champion for the company. So therefore, I am picking Daniel Garcia. And, this is one of those things where I think Daniel Garcia beating Jack Perry would be great. On this card, we don't have the Young Bucks. We don't have Okada. What is Jack Perry going to do? What is Jack Perry going to do when he doesn't have the Elite with him? They're not on the card. They're probably not going to be in his corner. I think it would be justifiable to have Daniel Garcia beat him. It would be a feel-good moment for a babyface. And, I'm not a fan of Jack Perry right now anyways, so maybe that's just my biasness speaking. But I don't feel like the TNT Championship reign has been anything good for Jack Perry. I would just have him drop the belt to Daniel Garcia, click that reset button. And that's really what I really want to see with Full Gear. I want to see AEW kind of click the reset button. It goes back to what I said about Jay White. Like, there's just certain things that you haven't done in the past that you can do by having certain people win tonight. So if Jay White were to win against Hangman Page, it would be a big deal. If you had Daniel Garcia beat Jack Perry, it's kind of like that reset, which would be really cool. And I think that would be awesome. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. This is an exciting match. It's going to be a very, 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 very good match. I see some people in the chat mentioning this possibility of Mark Davis coming in and costing Will Ospreay the match. Listen, you want to make Kyle Fletcher a big singles guy? You want to give him his own identity? You have him beat Will Ospreay. Now, here's the thing. If Kyle Fletcher were to beat Will Ospreay with the help of Mark Davis, that would make a lot of sense, right? If Mark Davis were to turn on Will Ospreay, it would make a lot of sense. And then you could even have Will Ospreay and Ricochet team up against them, right? You could do that. There's so much that you can do there after this match. So, chat, I see you, I hear you, I read you. And what I would say is this: it would be an interesting choice for booking. I would go as far as saying Kyle Fletcher winning would be an upset victory, but it would be a good one. And you can still tell stories after this, which I think could be really fun. So therefore, I'm picking Kyle Fletcher. I don't think Tony Khan will have Kyle Fletcher win, but I think it would be really cool for Kyle Fletcher to win. Again, giving an identity to somebody who needs it. He's got the new look. We know he's a great wrestler. We know he's a great performer. This would be a game changer for AEW. And once Kyle Fletcher is officially done with Will Ospreay at some point, then you can have him do his thing within, you know, the TNT title picture or the International Championship or whatever it may be, Continental Classic. I don't know. But that's what I would love to see. I would love to see them switch it up a little bit. And then we have Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And this is where it gets really interesting because I don't think this is something I'm excited about. Believe it or not, I'm not excited about this world title match. And I don't really think this is a easy prediction. I think Jon Moxley winning is for sure an easy prediction. What I don't think is an easy prediction is what comes out of this match and how they book it. Orange Cassidy losing, Jon Moxley retains. AEW needs to give me something to get invested. End this pay-per-view in a way that makes me so fucking intrigued to watch Dynamite next week. And honestly, it will be very good. It will be very good. But they got to do something to get me invested here. Is that Shane McMahon? I don't know that. Is it somebody else joining the group? I don't know. Is it Orange Cassidy being turned on? I don't know. Something needs to happen to become a talking point because this is not a strong world championship feud. And I love Orange Cassidy. I love when Orange Cassidy takes things serious. I like when Orange Cassidy isn't always a comedy character. I'm a fan of Orange Cassidy, but this is not a big time feud. We saw Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. That was a big time feud. We've seen Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. That was a big time feud. Chris Jericho, when he was world champion, had big time feuds. When MJF was a world champion, there was big time feuds. This is not a big time feud. This is not a good selling point for a card like this. But I think the pay-per-view should be relatively awesome. There is something that they have to do to end this card the right way. They got to do it the right way. They got to do something. I can give Tony Khan a million suggestions. The reality is Tony Khan needs to have it figured out. I'm sorry, but Darby Allin and Jon Moxley feuding for a world championship is not a big enough draw. And Orange Cassidy feuding with Jon Moxley is not a big enough draw. Jay White, Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, Okada, Kenny Omega when he returns, MJF. I just listed several top stars in this company that should be competing for a world championship. Swerve Strickland could be back in the mix. Bobby Lashley's now in the company. There are a ton of people who could be going for the world championship. I'm not saying I don't like Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, but they haven't had the type of year that makes me feel like they should be the next world champion. And I feel like that's where we got to press the reset button, and that's where I want to see things change. And I need AEW to realize that however they plan on ending the night, they got to do it in a way that is exciting. They got to do it in a way that is impactful, because I'm telling you guys, this is not strong enough, and it's very, very unfortunate. This is a card that does not have Jamie Hayter. This is a card that doesn't have the Women's World Championship, which obviously we do know, there's going to be some plans there. But this is like, there's some things that is missing from this card. And that's okay. It's going to be a well-paced card. I like that. It's going to be a lot easier to watch Full Gear. I can guarantee that. Okay. But Adam Cole is not on the card. They got something there. I mean, like, Ricochet's not on the card. Konosuke Takesha's not on the card. Like, there is some big thing. Christian Cage is not on the card. There's things that aren't on the card that is missing from this card. That is okay. Those things missing from the card is okay if they're putting it on TV next week or whatever it may be. I'm okay with that. But this is not a strong enough world title feud to end the pay-per-view. And in fact, I would actually just say don't have this main event the pay-per-view. I would literally just have Swerve and Jay White and the pay-per-view, or Bobby Lashley and Swerve or something. Like, Jay White and Hangman could main event, whatever. My point is this world title feud is not that. It's not coming across as important to me. Therefore, I don't really care about it. A lot of people probably won't agree with me, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. As far as that goes, ladies and gentlemen, there might be some new matches announced. There might be some new things announced. And whatever may happen, I'll just drop those predictions in Discord and on Twitter. With that being said, though, I appreciate you guys coming through for the AEW Full Gear predictions. Live streams will be back full time next week. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching.